Hi there, we're at Panorama Studios here at Bakersfield College in the Commercial Music program. We're here in our studio. I'm Dr. Autumn. And this
Tim
is
Heasley.
Tim Heasley here. And we're standing here at our Audient ASP 4816 console. And what we're going to do today is track 3 basic guitar tracks, and we're going to make use of our patch bay. So that's that silver input and output section there. And basically what a patch bay does is it just routes audio in any direction you want it to go. And in our case, what we're going to do is we're going to process a little bit of audio today using some of this outboard gear. So we have some 500 series, also called lunchbox effects on top here, and then standard rack sizes there. We also have a few more processors there. So for our first guitar track, you want to tell us what we're going to...
So we're going to insert an LA2A compressor into our channel for channel 11, which is where we're recording the guitar. So we're going to come over here to the output, or the insert send from channel 11, and plug into that. And we'll take that signal and we'll plug it into the input of our first LA2A, which, let's see here, that's going to be this one. And then what we'll do is we'll take the output of that LA2A and we'll put it back into the return, the insert return for channel 11. So we're coming out, we're sending from channel 11 to the input of the LA2A, the output of the LA2A back into and returning to channel 11.
So we're going to go ahead and track this first guitar, and you'll get a sense of how that works, and then we'll patch our second guitar into a different piece of hardware.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and record some tracks here. We're all armed and ready to go in Logic, and we have our LA2A patched in here at the patch bay, and here's the unit here, it's the one on the top. And we'll go ahead and do some tracking. So I'll kick things off here on our DAW for Dr. Autumn. All right, so we're going to record a different amp. We're coming into channel 9 on the console. So we're going to insert a compressor on this channel. So we're going to take the insert send from channel 9 into the input of our 1176, and we'll take the output of the 1176 and we'll put it back. We'll turn it to channel 9. And we'll now have that in line inserted in that channel. So let's kick that off. We're all set up anytime you want to go. Ooh. patched in for the EL8, and we're going to go ahead and take the recording.
So we're gonna put a quick MIDI bass part on this real quick using the retro synth in Logic. Just a classic subtractive synth model, kind of punchy, and we set it to monophonic mode so that when I play two notes at once, it won't overlap. Only one note is allowed at a time. All right, so let's do this. Right. Okay, so we're back. We have our finished track. So we have our Logic drummer, our MIDI bass that we just put on, and 3 different guitar passes. And so what we're going to do is we're going to essentially mix this audio. Instead of using the faders in Logic, we're going to use the faders on the console. People like to do this so that they can send their audio out of the box. So people say mix it in the box or out of the box. When people say mixing in the box, it means you're staying in your DAW and never leaving, basically. This is a chance for us to part out the stems and assign them to separate faders on here and use the hardware, use the built-in EQ, use the compressor on our master bus so we can apply this compressor. This is kind of a famous model of an SSL console. Apply the sound of this to our whole mix, and it really gives it a nice gel. So I like to start with faders all the way down sometimes, just to kind of make myself listen. If you kind of start up at 0, sometimes it can be confusing for different reasons. So I've pulled down all the faders. Real quick, we can say that the drums are stereo set of faders. The bass is too, because it's a stereo synth. And then we have guitar 1, 2, 3 on these faders here. And so let's come on over here and take a quick look. We'll do like a 2-minute mix here. So I'll go ahead and press play and bring things up. So if you want to come and take a look here, one thing I just did right off the bat is I faded those drums. I hard panned the drums out just to spread their sound. I also just noticed that the EQ was engaged. And if I engage it, I know you can't hear this super well, but if I engage it, you know, these are high and low filters, so I can heighten that high or really dim it or something. I think for now I really like my drum sound, so I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna make sure that my EQs are off, which is basically just making sure they're not in. Bass. A nice trick for mixing right off the bat is to think about where your faders begin to be listenable and where they stop being listenable. So check this out. Let's start it again. I'm going to bring up the faders. They're going to be too quiet. They're going to be too quiet. They're going to start to be okay. I'm going to look at where they start to be okay. Then I'm going to push them up and up and up, and I'm going to realize they're not okay anymore because they're too loud. Then you can think about that section as a place to live, right? So from the top again, we're just working on bass and drums. Too quiet for me. In the ballpark, so I'm basically at 10-ish. Too loud. So right off the bat, I've cut out a ton of fader choices, and now I'm between 10 and 5 essentially. And if I wanted to, I could mess with EQ a little bit. Try something real quick. So I'm going to kick up a little bit of that low mid frequency, just an edge, just to give it a little bit more attack. Let's hear that, how that sets. Great. Guitars. So this was the Yamaha amp. Now one thing I might do is cut some of those lows. In fact, I could probably find some of that overtone that I don't love and just cut that a little bit. Next guitar. This is the Crate. I really like the sound of this out of the box, so this is a good example of, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So. So I'm looking for some of that kind of aggressive stuff, and I might dip that just a touch. Not a lot. Oops, let's see. Yeah, okay, cool. So, let's hear those all together. Here we go. Different monitors just cuz. I'm gonna pan the guitars, so I threw one over there, kept one in the middle, and threw the other one over there. Then I'll switch here with Tim, and if you want to quickly explain how we routed to do a mix.
You bet. So we're dealing with a 16-channel console and a 16-channel interface. So if we want to take our main mix and route that back into our computer, we need to literally take that extra 2 channels that we now have coming out of our main mix and route that back into one of those channels 1 through 16. So we're just taking the first 2 channels on our interface to do that. So what we do is we use patch cables to come out of our main out, and we're taking our left channel, or main out left, and we're patching that to the Apollo input, or our interface's input on channel 1. And we're taking the main out right and patching that into the input for channel 2. And so that shows up in our DAW as an input 1 and 2, and we just simply select that on a new track, a new stereo track, which will have the input of the main mix from the console.
There. So in theory, if we start the mix from the top and press record, it will record our settings here on the board back into Logic as a mix that we're printing. So let's press record and see what happens. All right, so there you have it. Thanks for tuning in. And that's how you do it.